It's time once again for your update from the city of New Hope. Joining us as always, the mayor, Kathi Hemken. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. Just fine. Spring is finally here.
Yes,
Sort of.
we have a lot of springtime items to talk about in the next few minutes, so stick with us for that. The first one, in fact, is one of the rites of spring. It is street sweeping. Who's out sweeping right now, and why is this so important, Mayor?
We have hired a company to do the street sweeping, and that should start this week. It'll go on for the next couple of weeks. We're asking people not to park on the city streets for that period unless you've seen the sweeper already go by. It's just so hard because the sweeper has to go around the cars then, and we don't do the good job that we really want to do. So put your car in the driveway for just a couple of weeks.
And there was another cleanup event that happened. This one had a lot of volunteers with it. This was for Shingle Creek. Tell us about the event that happened this past weekend.
Well, this was the week of the Great Shingle Creek cleanup. And Shingle Creek goes through our Meadow Lake Park. So there was a big cleanup at the Meadow Lake Park where we were just picking up trash and raking up leaves and planting a couple trees for Arbor Week.
Okay, very good. So a lot of people out there helping out with that event. Let's talk a little bit about Hennepin County and some of the correspondence that came through the county from the railroad. So explain this process for us and what are some of the things they're mentioning within this information?
Well, the railroad sent a letter to Hennepin County indicating that they should let residents know that live along the railroad corridor. And what it is you're not supposed to encroach on the corridor's property. So if you're living on the railroad corridor, and you have a garden in the back that might be on the railroad property, they will be coming out this spring and summer to inspect their corridor, and they may ask you to move it. So I would just don't plant anything or put anything on the actual setback from the railroad.
Makes sense. Another item of transportation is the metro or the municipal electric vehicle charging station. So something new, I believe, coming to the city. How does this work? Where might they be?
Well, this company is coming to talk with staff, and they already do this in Plymouth. What they do is they put charging stations for cars on city-owned property, and then they do that for free, but they charge the user of that electricity that plugs their car in for the use of that. So we're just talking to them. We haven't decided whether or not we want to do that, but if we do, I'll let you know that that's going to happen.
Another stat that we bring residents on a regular basis is the single family conversion rate. What are some of the latest numbers that residents need to know?
Well, residents tend to take their family-owned homes and put them into the rental arena. And then they do the opposite. They take them out of rental property back into single family homes. So in April, I think 3 went into, I have to look at my notes. 2 single-family homes were converted to rental, and 3 that were rental went back to single-family. So far this year, 10 have gone from single-family to rental, and 3 have come back from rental to single-family. It's just a very confusing thing. I think it happens mostly in the winter. When people go away for the winter, they then rent their houses out. They get into the rental program that way.
All right, now residents up to date. Always touching base on the scattered site housing projects throughout the city. And we've been talking about the one at 42nd at Boone for some time here. Their event is coming up. What's happening soon here at that site in New Hope?
So that's the Treehouse site. And the Treehouse is moving. They're combining with Plymouth and New Hope, and those 2 will move into a facility in Plymouth. So the houses will come for sale. They sold it to the city. We'll be closing on that on the 3rd of June. In the meantime, on help me with the date.
May 11th?
May 11th, yes, thank you. From 6 to 8, Treehouse will be having a farewell party. So if you've ever had anything to do with Treehouse or just want to see the house, stop by between 6 and 8 and say goodbye to the kids and the house.
Very nice. 46th and Aquila, let's give residents an update there. And this is one that's seeing a little holdup due to building materials like we hear happening all over.
We have, the house went up so quickly and we had real high hopes that it would go on the market that quickly. Well, they had to stall that to go on the market. because of the delay in getting some of the materials. So they think they'll get that sometime this spring or early summer, and then it'll go on MLS and get listed. I believe they're listing it for 460.
Okay. Final property to talk about is 53rd in Rhode Island, and this is at the beginning of the process. How are we standing here?
Well, we tore the house down and made the land all nice and pretty, and we've got 5 prospective companies that would like to build a house there. So the city council and the EDA will look at those proposals tonight, Monday, and pick one to be the builder to put put a new house there.
Okay. Business networking group update for people. We had been promoting the May event. It occurred. How did it go? I understand a great crowd.
It was a great crowd. We had almost standing room only.
Very nice.
It was really, really busy. Had a real nice presentation from a gal who does wellness stuff in the city. So it's going to be the 1st of June will be the next one. And that's going to be at the food group. It'll be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're having it in the afternoon because the food group wants to give people a tour of the food group. So we're hoping we'll have a nice turnout at that one too. Now, the group voted in July not to have it on the first Wednesday, but to have it on the 3rd Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll do that possibly at Pocket Square.
Okay, very good.
And that will be a 3 o'clock event also.
All right.
So the group is growing, and there's a lot of exchange of cards going on there and a lot of networking going on.
That is good to see. We'll keep residents up to date. Let's talk about building permits and inspections. Talk about a busy department. These folks saw a little bit of everything during the month of April.
Oh, they are so busy. They did 419 inspections just in the month of April. Most of those are building inspections or code enforcements, but those guys are out every single day, just have a full plate of inspections to do. So thank you for them.
One other update in this area, the Pheasant Park Apartments. We want to keep residents up to date here. How is that process going along after the fire?
Well, after the fire, 16 residents got basically removed from their apartments while now they're doing some investigation from the insurance company of the owner of the property. After that's done, the residents, homeowners insurance or rentals insurance, they'll come in and do their own investigation. They're telling me by the middle of the day on May 16th, they'll be able to move back into their apartments. So we're really looking forward to getting those folks back in their apartments.
Next to the police department, time for a couple updates here as we are again in the middle of May with this update. They have been through some training and reviewing, quite the process here with lots of big words. Mayor, help us understand.
Well, I'm going to read these big words
Right.
because it doesn't. They passed a comprehensive review of legislatively mandated training and department policies on use of force and firearms training. That's a lot of words, but what happens is legislatively, we have to do some firearms and use of force training every year. Our police department has passed those requirements and they're moving on. They train all the time, by the way. So this isn't just a once a year thing. They are constantly training, but this is just the testing, if you will.
Very good. Couple final notes from police. Officer Callio has been out and about, very busy delivering meals and talking about frauds and scams. Is that correct?
It is. So he's still delivering Meals on Wheels, and the residents that are getting those meals are loving it. Officer Callio went to Woodbridge and talked about frauds and scam prevention. Even though people know about it, they still keep getting the phone calls, and we get 2 or 3 a month saying they were scammed, and there's really nothing we can do after the fact. So we're trying to let people know that just hang up that phone. Don't talk to them. They don't mean well for you at all, and we don't want you to be scammed out of your money.
One other big event that police was involved with, and many others from 4 cities in the area this past week, was the bike rodeo down in Golden Valley under their big water tower. How did the event go? What type of crowd was drawn there?
It's a wonderful event. So New Hope, Crystal, Robbinsdale, and Golden Valley all combined together to put on this event. So police from all of those areas are there. The fire departments are there. 4 of my police officers, as well as the chief and our reserve unit, was there to help. Mm-hmm. And it's just a wonderful event for these kids to come. They bring their bikes. They show them how to wear their helmets. They teach them how to stop their bikes and how to use hand signals. And It's just a nice event. And the reason it's in Golden Valley is because it moves from one city to the other
Okay.
every year. So this was the year for Golden Valley to have it, but it doesn't seem to deter any of the kids from coming, no matter where it is.
Yeah, fun event and a good time had by all. Let's go to Public Works now. And this is going to be our spring cleaning laundry list. Mayor, they're out doing a little bit of everything that they have to do in spring. Give us an idea of some of their tasks.
Well, as we all do spring cleaning in our homes, Public Works does it for the city.
Okay.
So I'm going to read the list because it's quite lengthy, actually. So they were assisting in the street sweeping. They're prepping the fields for games. They're repairing the boulevards from the snowplow damage. They're going out and checking the lawn signs or the street signs, the maintenance. They're reinstalling umbrellas at the pool, and they're cleaning out storm grates. All that work that gets done that people don't actually notice, but it's all to keep our city looking very nice.
Hats off to that crew. They have been out and about everywhere, no doubt about it. Let's go to infrastructure improvement projects throughout the city. If you live on Independence and part of the city, you're seeing some activity happening above ground. What's happening? What's this in preparation for?
Well, they're putting in a water main on Bass Lake Road. So north of Bass Lake Road on Independence, they've laid lines that are water lines because they have to be above ground. I just want to tell people that that water is just as good as the water they were getting out of their tap before. It's just now the lines are laying on the surface. So they'll be using that surface water May 10th and 11th, and they're hoping to have the water main repaired by then, and then they'll go back to using the water the normal way, and they'll remove all that piping from their lawns.
One other note in Public Works, noise walls along 169. What is happening there as they're looked into, and a little update on maintenance of those walls.
So they're looking at in 2023 to put a noise wall between Bass Lake Road and 62nd. That's New Hope. So that's done by MnDOT, and MnDOT picks up the tab for most of that. The city puts in a little bit of money for that. So that new noise wall will go on there. The thing we want to talk about a little bit is the maintenance of those noise walls. So we have been working with MnDOT for, I would bet, 5-6 years, asking them to please come out and maintain the walls that are already there from Medicine Lake Road all the way up to Bass Lake Road. And they tell us they have money to put new ones in. They don't have any money for maintenance.
Okay.
So we keep writing to our legislators, talking to MnDOT, trying to figure out, instead of building more, maybe we could just fix the ones we have. So we'll see. That's a continuing thing for our city manager, and it's driving him crazy.
All right, we'll keep residents up to date on that. Let's go to Park and Rec. Quite a few items, as you might imagine here. It's the month of May. That means the Step to It Challenge. How is that process going? And is it too late to get involved?
It is not too late to get involved. Step to It runs through May, from May 1st until I believe the 28th. You can still go online and sign up and just start recording your activities. You don't have to necessarily count your steps. You can simply record your activities. So if you happen to golf one day, you just put in how many minutes or hours you spent golfing, and it will convert the steps for you. We have 110 residents in New Hope that have signed up for the Step to It Challenge. Basically, it's just a personal way to see how you're doing and maybe encourage you to get out a little bit more and move a little bit more. And it's been a long winter. It's time to get out.
I agree. Step2it.org. You see the website right there if you want more information to get signed up. Summer registration, Park and Rec, very busy of getting the final things in place for summer programs. Tell us about some of the activities they do right now to be prepared for all of the kids.
Well, they're training the coaches. They're training the people they hire to work at the parks for the park programs. They still need a couple field attendants. So there's still a couple jobs available if you're looking for that. But we're in the process of training all of those folks now and hoping that summer will be here soon. We'll just have a big kickoff.
You mentioned golf a minute ago with the Step to It Challenge, and a great place to get that activity is the New Hope Village Golf Course. How is the course doing these days? What are some of the items they do here in late spring, or I guess early spring, to get ready for the rest of the season?
Well, they're preparing the flower beds. It's still just a little bit cold to plant too many flowers. But what's coming up are all the perennials now. So they're starting to come up and they're cleaning that all up. They're also doing a lot of mulching around the areas that need the mulch. They renewed their contract with Ironwood for parking. Ironwood doesn't have enough parking in their back parking lot, and so we let them pay to park in the golf course parking lot. So
Mhm.
they renewed that contract.
Very good.
So everything is going pretty well at the golf course.
And you've got a plant sale coming up. Speaking of
We
plants and golf,
do.
how do these work together?
So I've been going out digging up those little suckers that come out of the plant to the side, digging those all up and planting them. So this plant sale will be the 21st of May from 8 to 1. The plants all cost $2. Well, it's $5 for 2 pots.
Okay.
And there'll be a little bucket to put your money in. I'll be there on Saturday, the 21st. We don't want to sell plants before then though, because we don't want most of the plants to be gone.
Mhm.
We usually raise, I think last year we raised close to $1,700 with the plant sale.
Yeah.
And that money is spent buying more flowers and more little trees and things around the golf course that aren't necessarily in the golf course's budget.
All right, very good. Get out there and shop on the 21st. To the ice arena we go. A little update there. We've been talking about the progress of the North Rink, and it sounds like we have skaters back on the ice.
We do. They think today is Monday, the 10th. They got the ice out on there and it's looking good. Today is their first rental. So they were kind of under the gun to get that done.
I bet.
In the meantime, they've painted the bleachers and the steps and it looks just beautiful in there. So as always, they're starting to rent ice. But the other thing is they're looking at the fall and winter ice scheduling.
Hard to believe.
Here, it's been spring for 2 days.
Right.
And already they're starting the fall and winter. But that's a lot of scheduling and a lot of jockeying around to find places for the skaters to come in and skate.
Well, a good sign the facility is so under demand. Speaking of under demand, the aquatic park soon will be the place to be once again. How are things going there to get ready for the season? And how about people buying passes and lessons to get involved?
So they're just finishing up cleaning of the pools and they're cleaning the inside of the bathhouses. So it will be ready on the 4th of June when the pool opens. Now, remember I told you they'll be open the 4th and 5th. That's
Right.
a Saturday and Sunday. And then they'll be closed for the rest of that week and they'll open again on the 9th. The reason for that is the kids who work at the pool are still in school.
Sure.
So we have to have kids to open that pool. So the pool is just about ready. You can buy a season pass and they're $60 now for residents. Residents are Crystal, Golden Valley and New Hope. And the reason we do that is because we've always shared a residency with the Crystal Pool.
Right.
And we also use the kiddie park in Golden Valley as a resident of New Hope. So we're extending that to Golden Valley too. So you have until the end of the day of on the 3rd of June. You have until the end of the day to get a season pass and they're $60. They're $70 if you're a non-resident.
Okay.
After that, the resident rate will go up to $70 and they'll go up to $80 for the non-resident. Now, as of last Thursday morning, they had sold 413 season passes and 423 lessons have been signed up.
Great.
So if you haven't signed your child up for swimming lessons and you want to, you should probably do that pretty quickly. And if you're going to buy a season pass, you can save yourself $10 if you do it before the 3rd of June.
That sounds good. Final note to pass along, something for your calendar for May 19th. This is a great community organization called Prism, and you are going to be involved in their big gala event. Tell us more.
Well, Prism is the food shelf that's in Golden Valley, and it serves about half of New Hope. And so they have something called Taste of the Burbs. And this year they're having it at 8 different locations, and 3 of those locations are actually in New Hope.
Mhm.
So they'll be at Pub 42, they'll be at Frankie's Pizza, and they'll be at Cinema Bar and Grill. So you can go onto the website, and you're going to put that on the screen. You can go onto that website and reserve a spot at one of those. The admission fee is $40, and 25 of that 40 is actually going to Prism, and the rest of it will go to whatever it is you're tasting, where it is you are.
Sure.
So I know at Cinema Grill, we'll be having the famous Redmond popcorn
Perfect.
and dessert. And then there'll be a little movie about Prism and just some networking. And you'll learn more about Prism and the food shelf. Right now, food is really, really needed for an awful lot of people, and Prism does a wonderful job of supplying food to our residents.
They do indeed. There you see that site again, prismmpls.org. You can find out more about that event and just ways you can work with them throughout the year. Well, Mayor, great to see you once again. Thanks for all the information, and we look to talk to you again next week for more updates from the city of New Hope. Take care.
Thanks, Dave. See you then. Bye-bye.
Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.